Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Again, my name is Miranda Kennedy. I'm the director of the Able National Resource Center, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our kickoff panel. Welcome to Able to Save Month, everyone. We're going to be having a panel here today with our Able ambassadors, who are Able account owners and family members of Able account owners. Would like to say thank you to our sponsors for our Able to Save campaign, Prudential, TIAA, CalAble, Able Now, and Able America. I'm going to hand it over to Katie Achenbach, who's going to share information on just the next couple slides on how to listen to the panel and about some of the support around this. So Katie.
Thanks, Miranda. The audio for today's panel discussion can be accessed using your computer audio or by calling in by phone. If you select computer audio, please make sure that your speakers are turned on or your headphones are plugged in. If you do not have sound capabilities on your computer or you prefer to listen by phone, you can dial 1-929-205-6099 and enter the meeting code 812-0803-4001. Captioning and ASL interpretation. Real-time captioning is provided for this panel discussion. The captions can be found by clicking on the closed captions icon in your Zoom controls at the bottom of the screen. American Sign Language ASL interpretation is also being provided today. Note, if you do not see the captions after clicking the button or the ASL interpreters on the screen, please alert the host via the chat box. If you miss any portion of this panel, it is being recorded and it will be placed on the Able National Resource Center website at the 2021 Able to Save webpage. You can find that at ablenrc.org/able-to-save-2021. If you have any technical difficulties today, please use the chat box to send a message to the NDI host, or you can email Katie Achenbach at KAUCHENBACH@ndi-inc.org. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Miranda.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Katie. So for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, welcome, and I'll tell you just a little bit about the Able National Resource Center. We are the leading comprehensive source of objective, independent information about federal and state-related ABLE programs and activities, including guidance on tax-advantaged ABLE savings accounts. It's our mission to educate, promote, and support the positive impact that ABLE can make on the lives of millions of Americans with disabilities and their family members. So our pioneering work in this area and our subject matter expertise has really made us at Able National Resource Center the foremost authorities on topics relating to the Achieving a Better Life Experience, otherwise known as ABLE Act, ABLE accounts, state ABLE programs, ABLE-related policy developments, and comprehensive integration of ABLE and financial capability strategies for people with disabilities into public service delivery systems. In 2015, the National Disability Institute created the Able National Resource Center, or ABLE NRC is our acronym. And we did this in collaboration with over 20 national disability organizations in order to increase awareness, understanding, and utilization of ABLE accounts across the country. Our Able National Resource Center website is the most visited website for objective, up-to-date information on opening, managing, and growing ABLE accounts. And on an annual basis, over 1 million visitors gain information and new understanding about ABLE. So for over 5 years, webinars have featured public and private experts about ABLE programs and ABLE accounts. So I wanted to give you that little bit of a background about the Able National Resource Center. And now let's talk about our 2021 Able to Save campaign. You're going to see it's always hashtag Able to Save campaign. This is our 5th year doing a nationwide month-long campaign. And really the goal of this is to provide information and resources about the ease, use, and significance of ABLE accounts for people with disabilities. And our hope is that together we can increase awareness across the country and really expand the number of people with disabilities and their families who are benefiting from ABLE accounts. I'd just like to acknowledge again our thanks to our Able to Save sponsors, Prudential, CalAble, TIAA, and Able Now and Able America. We greatly appreciate their support. So I want to talk to you just to give you a heads up about what's coming during this month-long campaign. Today's our first day. We're kicking it off with a panel, but I wanted to give you a sense of some things to come. So throughout the month of August, we're going to be hosting events, live events, and sharing ABLE information and tools. We're going to have panels like the one today with our ABLE ambassadors, who are ABLE account owners and their family members. We're going to be sharing some new podcasts, some informational videos, great tools like our decision guides that are brand new, very helpful to folks. And we're going to have Ask an ABLE account owner forums as well. So today is a panel, and we're going to also be ending the month with a panel of our ambassadors. But the next 3 Fridays in between, we're going to actually open it up for folks to ask their questions of our ABLE account owners and family members. But for today, we really want to kick off starting you off with hearing from them, getting to know them, hearing a little bit about their stories. But what you can expect for the next few weeks, this week is our Welcome to Able to Save month. You'll be following along with the panel today and the information we're sharing throughout the week. Next week, week 2, is how to open an ABLE account and keys to success information to help you do that. Week 3 is going to be targeted to talking about best practices for eligible individuals and working age adults. Week 4, we'll be talking about best practices for ABLE family members and circle of support. And finally, our week 5, which is really just that Monday and Tuesday that end up the month, we'll be doing our ABLE call to action. So those next steps to achieve a better life experience. So we're really happy and excited to have you all here with us today. We do want to let you know how you can follow along with the campaign. Hopefully you already have the information you need, but if you don't, you can follow the Able to Save campaign on Facebook or Twitter, visiting the using the social media handle at @TheAbleNRC. And don't forget to use the hashtag Able to Save in posts that you share throughout the month. And you can stay tuned to our Able to Save webpage for updates on events and activities that are going to be added on a weekly basis throughout the month. And that email, Katie gave it earlier, but it's again here at the bottom of the slide, ablenrc.org/able to save -2021 /. Now, this is what we're here for. I would love to introduce you to our Able to Save panelists for today. So we're going to be hearing from a number of ABLE account owners and family members who've been with us working on Able to Save. We're going to be starting off with a few questions for each of them. So you can hear and learn from their stories and their experience with ABLE accounts. These folks are pioneers in this space, opening their accounts and sharing their experience with all of you. We have a wide range of ABLE account owners and family members from across the country who have different savings goals, who have different accommodation needs and supports they have. And really who have very different experiences, but who all have the common key thread of benefiting from an ABLE account and wanting to share that with all of you. That's why they're here. They're absolutely ambassadors and have great stories to share. So I'm excited to be bringing them up with all of you. So with this, we're going to go ahead and highlight. I'm going to start off with asking Davina to come on to video and unmute her line. And I've got a couple of questions to ask Davina to kick us off. Hi, Davina.
Hi, Miranda. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you.
So you're coming to us from Detroit, Michigan today, right?
Yes.
Although the bridge behind you might say something else. And I wanted to give you a chance to just introduce yourself quickly, who you are, where you're at in the country, and Dushan, who has the ABLE account, if you could tell us a little bit about your story there. And then I've got a few questions for you.
Okay, great. My name is Davina Christian. I am the mother of an account holder in the state of Michigan. I live in Detroit, Michigan. Our ABLE account is through Michigan. So it's called MyABLE, MIABLE. Dushan was born with sickle cell disease, which made him eligible for an ABLE account. And at the age of 11, our lives changed dramatically because he suffered a series of strokes, which left him nonverbal and in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to his strokes, he went to school, I went to work. We had quote unquote normal lives. So finance was not a big deal for us. You have a savings account, you have a checking account as a parent. After the strokes, finances became a worry. And it became a worry because employment was going to be hard for me. And our lives had changed dramatically. So I was looking for something to help us solve that financial issue. And ABLE came onto the scene at the end of 2016. And what I tell people that I meet about ABLE is that it solved 5 of my 6 problems. The 5 problems it solved was, what do I do about saving for the future? What do I do about unexpected needs? What will it do to help me purchase things that's needed for Dushan? And what will happen in the event something happens to me? How will the next person support him? The only issue that ABLE accounts can't fix is healing him.
Mm-hmm. Davina, it was surprising to me when we first met and you talked about it solving 5 of the 6 most pressing problems that you were facing. And that might not be true of everyone, but it is true of you. And you've been able to share that. But I wonder if you could also share with our audience today, specifically, what are you able to achieve now with your ABLE account that you would not have been able to achieve without it?
Oh, that's a good question, because it has multiple answers. So with ABLE accounts, there is so much that you can use money for. So many expenses that you can cover. So over time, that our goals have changed. I'll call them goals. So my primary goal was to save money for the future. That was my primary goal. And then as life happened, we needed a wheelchair accessible vehicle. You need a down payment for those. And they are sometimes very expensive. So we were able to acquire a wheelchair accessible vehicle, which Dushan got last year for his 21st birthday. Then one of our goals was to get help with augmented communication devices, because insurance don't always cover that. So we were able to purchase things that we needed for his augmented communication device. And now our goal is back to savings for the future.
Those are great goals. And I know it's helped you a lot, but also you're not just interested in this for yourself. You very much have a community service, public service, your work that you have done, as well as your support of other parents and family members. What are you doing to promote ABLE accounts to others?
So every parent that I meet that have a disabled child, I tell them about ABLE accounts, whether they qualify or not, because I don't ask personal information. but I always bring it up as a way to introduce parents to a way to find savings or financial stability for their children. Um, Sometimes the conversations go deep and parents ask more questions. Other times they don't. And I don't push, but I always bring it up, whether, no matter what we talk about, no matter what circumstances we meet under. I always bring it up because I think it's very important. It was very important for me, so I think it'll be very important for other parents to have financial stability.
Mhm. Well, along those lines, because I know you've been sharing and promoting Able to Save Month and what we have planned for the month with others as well. But can you talk with the group we have here, our audience today, what are you looking forward to this month?
Additional information. So one thing that I have found, even though we are longtime Able account holders, is we always learn something new. Even if it's something that's introduced from that I've already known about, it could be from a different perspective. So there is always something new to learn with Able accounts, whether it affects our state or not. There is something that I can look into. And the good thing is that you can always go to the Able NRC website, and there is a wealth of information there. And then there is a wealth of information that give you the resources to other state sites. So you're not just stuck in an endless loop. You can always use that as a way to further learn different things that's going on in different states.
Well, and before we go to our next ambassador, I want to let everyone know that, you know, the week when we're talking about best practices for Able family members, Davina will be one of the ambassadors who will be on that Ask an Ambassador panel. So you can bring questions to Davina during that panel as well. And thank you, Davina. We'll be circling back around with you for one last question towards the end, but thanks for kicking us off and being our first to talk and share what you've done with your Able account, you and Deshawn, and how it's changing your lives. Thanks, Davina.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
We're gonna now go to Edward Mitchell and ask Edward to share his screen and unmute his line. Hi, Edward.
Well, good afternoon.
Well, you're doing some nice promotion for Lane College there where you went to school.
Yes.
Edward's coming to us from Tennessee, everyone. And I'll just ask Edward if you could tell folks just a little bit about your story before we ask you some of the similar questions and hear your different answers from what Davina had to share. So Edward, the stage is yours.
Awesome. Well, my name is Edward Mitchell. I'm a resident of Tennessee, but I have no real home state as my parents. We moved around a lot due to their professions. My disability occurred on March 29th when I was a victim of a hit and run accident, which left me with a C5, C6 incomplete spinal cord injury. But I have not let that hold me back. I've gone on to graduate from Lane College at HBCU with honors on a full ride. I also completed my master's in 2011 from Union University, another small university. I've achieved my master's. I'm currently working as an independent living specialist and also working for a minor league baseball team. And between those schedules, I sit on 2 gubernatorial boards and just try to do what I can to help the community locally, but also on a national level.
Okay, great, Edward. So you're not busy at all. I get that.
No.
Thank you for being an ambassador. Again, Edward has been with us since very early on. And I think your understanding also has really evolved over the years and what you're doing. So interested in sharing. So can you tell folks, what does your Able account mean to you? It's a big question, but just kind of philosophically, what does it mean to you?
Able means finding a place to belong and being able to save, because as I've matriculated through life, my other friends, college graduates, are hitting milestones in their life, purchasing homes, saving in their 401ks. And for me, I'm very open and honest with them, but also there are other needs I need, such as having nursing care, which I'm on a Tennessee waiver in order to receive nursing care. But also that kind of caps some of the things I'm able to do. But Able allows me to save for those long-term ranges. So I feel like I'm able to keep up with them, and also feel like I'm in those commercials. You're starting to become your parents when you make these big life purchases.
I know those commercials. That's funny. Thank you, Edward, for sharing that. But also, can you talk specifically about what you're able to achieve now with your ABLE account that you wouldn't have been able to achieve with?
Saving for a wheelchair accessible vehicle. I'm a quadriplegic at C5, C6 level, and I was able to purchase my new 2020 Honda Odyssey Elite. Wheelchair accessible vans can be extremely expensive, especially when you add in adaptive equipment, which the cost is in excess over $100,000. And without an ABLE account, I would not have been able to save for this and feel like that I'm keeping pace not only with my friends, but just those life goals that keep me independent. Because without transportation, there's no way I would be able to do half the things that I'm able to do.
Right. And you talked too about being able to save for, and that was a long-term plan, and being able to get that vehicle, which happened earlier this year, which is a game changer, right?
Yes, indeed.
But also saving towards, home ownership and things like that. You've also talked about, and those are some of those bigger investments and goals to have. But can you talk about, I know with your work with the Independent Living Center, and you're so connected to different groups, the fraternity and others, the work you do with the Tennessee, governor and the council there. But what are you doing to promote ABLE accounts to others? I hope it includes sharing information about Able to Save Month, but what else are you doing to promote?
What I'm doing is anytime that we have a chance to promote ABLE saving, I try to make sure I bring that up, like using the 3-state comparison tool, because people need to know that every ambassador has different goals and dreams. For me, using ABLE Tennessee is great for long range spending, but there are some people that need ABLE accounts to have a debit card feature attached to them. So those are things that I try to incorporate, not only on the DD Council, but even on the statewide Independent Living Council. And we've gotten that information to where we're asking with a like information about ABLE on our intake packets as people are getting services from the different centers for independent living. That is a question that comes up on the intake process.
Okay. And can you just share generally, what are you looking forward to this month? We've got a nice schedule. Every week has a theme, and we've definitely got a lot of engagement, 5 different events where you ambassadors will be on, but what are you looking forward to this month? Or what do you think others should look forward to this month?
I think people should look forward to the different podcasts so you can listen to it in the comfort of one's own home or as you commute back and forth, just so you get a feel and the flavor of our different ambassadors, because we're all working towards the same goal: financial independence and asset development. And that's what ABLE accounts are doing. So you need to look forward to those podcasts, but also asking those experts, because there's no reason to put off opening an ABLE account tomorrow when you can do it in 3 easy minutes today.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Edward. I'll have another question for you towards the end, but thank you for hopping on and sharing. And it's nice to see you today.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, next up, we're going to have Simon Cantos. Can we get Simon's video and have Simon unmute your line? Hi, Simon.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So thanks for being here today. I'm going to let folks, you're one of our newer ambassadors. You haven't had an account as long as others, although certainly having been in a lot of communication with Edward for a while. But I'm going to give you an opportunity before I ask you kind of the similar questions, and here you have different things to share than others. But could you start off by just letting folks know, who you are, a little bit about yourself, where you are in the country, and your goals?
No problem. I'm Simon Cantos. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I currently use a PA ABLE account that is set up by the state. I am a inside sales engineer at a air conditioning company called Carrier, where we design very large air conditioning systems for large buildings. I drive, I live independently. I've always been in a position where I've tried to do things on my own. And the thing with an Able account was it kind of gave me more financial freedom to be able to save, to be able to build up my assets. It was something that was very tough to kind of maintain before I started an Able account. And to just have it and to just establish it, it's been given me very much greater sense of freedom to be able to save and to be able to kind of not have that worry of like being, approaching that limit of any financial or asset limit that the state, well, my state currently has for medical assistance and nursing care and some medical services that I need from the state.
Well, and towards that end, specifically, what are you able to achieve now? What are you able to do with that increased financial freedom that your Able account gives you that you wouldn't have been able to do before, especially with that resource limit for services that you need?
I mean, for me, it's like, all right, I can, take a promotion at work if I, if I'm ever offered one. I don't have to worry about, oh, if I get a raise at work, then, do I have to worry about that, financial limit? Because it was something that I was very hesitant to kind of have at work. Like, oh, like, do I, I'm not, offered one by my boss. And, I don't want to be in that awkward situation where, I have to decline a promotion or, I have to be concerned about a raise that, was given by my company to,
Right.
So-
And towards that end, it is really important, of course, that we should reiterate this here. And we'll talk more about it on that week where we're talking about eligible individuals who are also working age. But you always have to talk to a certified work incentive planning coordinator and talk to them about, I have an Able account, I'm looking at employment or taking a raise or an increase. How will that fit in with my benefit situation?
Mhm.
Because Able accounts don't shelter income. So that's important for folks to know too, right, Simon? I'm sure you've been working with a certified work incentive planning coordinator,
Mhm.
and that's really key. But yeah, it does allow for the ability for you to save above that resource limit,
Correct.
which is significant. Can you tell us what you're doing to promote Able accounts to others? There's different groups that you're working with, and I know you
True.
talked about wanting to share this information with folks who may not have heard about it. What are you doing to share that?
Yeah. Well, one thing I do when I'm not working is that I actually mentor and talk with a lot of other parents who have like children with the same condition as myself, which is a very rare form of muscular dystrophy. And a lot of times I'll get approached by a lot of other like young adults who are about to enter the workforce, or there's parents that have children who have the same form of muscular dystrophy. And, they're always asking me like, oh, how do you save for, a wheelchair or a wheelchair accessible vehicle? Um, the young adults who are working, they're like, how do I, make sure that I'm not going to be, exceeding any asset or asset limit, when I start working? Because it's always been a worry that, kind of like hangs in the back of like, a young adult's head or even the parents' head, like, what's going to happen, or how am I going to afford like all the medical equipment, services, anything that kind of, comes in when dealing with a disability in general. And I've always said, use an Able account. Like I tell parents, like, set up an Able account for your kid. Like, it's very useful. It's something that you can build over time, and it, you know, when you need it, it becomes extremely helpful. And when you don't have it, it's like one of those things. It's like, like you kind of wish you set it up like a long time ago and established things and got it working. And when you actually like have it all set up and that, time inevitably happens where like you need that funding, it's like, oh, it's right here. I have an Able account, and it's wonderful. And it's something that I've been, telling a lot of parents and a lot of young adults to set up.
Well, and I wonder too, we're heading into, this is the first day of our Able to Save campaign. What is it that you're looking forward to, or that you think others should look forward to during this month? What can they expect that you're excited?
Well, being relatively new, with having an Able account, I'm trying to take in as much information as I can out of, all the webinars and, all the information that's going to be coming up this, over the month. I want to try and be a sponge and like take in everything and all this, as much information as I can. So not only can I use it for myself, but I can, pass that knowledge on to the others that, need information or trying to, help me promote Able accounts to the other people that I reach out to.
Mm-hmm. Well, Simon, thank you for being here. I'm going to have another question for you at the end, but it was great to be able to share your experience and your story with others. Thanks. We're going to go next to Cheryl. So if I could get Cheryl to unmute her line and open up her video so we could say hi. Let's see. There you are. Hi, Cheryl.
Hello.
Well, Cheryl's coming to us from North Carolina today, everyone, unless you've traveled, but that's where she lives. But Cheryl, I'm going to go ahead and just ask you, similar to everyone else, could you tell everyone a little bit about your story with two young adults? You've got a different take on this, and could you share just a little bit of background of your Able story with your family?
Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl Waffle-Flagg, and my husband and I live in North Carolina with three young adult males. Our two youngest are on the autism spectrum, and one just graduated from high school. He's heading into community college, and the other one is actually our nephew, who is just starting high school, and we became his legal guardians a few years ago. And so when I first started out with Able accounts, I only had my son to think about at the time. And I kind of just stumbled on it at some kind of workshop I was at, and I heard about this thing that was coming down the pipeline. And I was more than excited. I started researching it right away because I wanted to know what it was. And the reason for that is Simon just touched on it, and Davina touched on some of it when they spoke also. But I remember when my son was first diagnosed in his very early years as about 1 or 2, there were two strong things that I kept hearing people in the disability community talk about. And that was what Simon just mentioned about not being able to save money and not have money, because then you wouldn't qualify for Social Security or other public means tested benefits. And the other one was, of course, guardianship. And that's another story altogether. But as my son was growing up, I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to help him in the future. And I knew that my husband and I wouldn't be around forever, because as things happen, we're human, we age, things change. And that was my biggest fear. What would happen to him in the future? And in those early years, I really didn't know his full capability. As the time went by, he excelled in school, and we saw a possibility or a promise of him being able to go to college and hold a job and do many things. And I wanted to secure that future for him. And so when I found out about the Able account initially, I started researching it everywhere. I landed on the Able National Resource Center website, not knowing anything about it. And that became my best website, my best friend website, because I just found everything that I needed to know about Able accounts. And I kept monitoring the website to get more information. Our kids have a NC Able account, that is a North Carolina account. And I remember searching it, finding it, and I signed up for their listserv, their email listing, so that when the North Carolina account opened, I would be able to take advantage of it. I remember getting the email on March 26th saying that the account was going to open the next day. And I did some research, and that morning before going for work, I opened my son's account with $25 deposited into the account. And that was several years ago, and we've been going forward since then.
Well, and you and Cheryl, you and Edward have been ambassadors of ours since we started our ambassador program back in 2018. And
Yes.
And I know that understanding has really evolved over time, and you did a lot of research up front. But I wonder, you know, you talked about this a little bit, but just really high level, what does your Able account mean to you, to your son, to your nephew, to your family?
For me personally, it means peace of mind. It took away, similar to Davina, it took away that worry that I had that my son wouldn't qualify for benefits, and he doesn't. He never got benefits as a child, and now that he is older and he can file for his benefits, we haven't done that yet, trying to take things one step at a time. But he never qualified for benefits, so it was always a fear, like when he applies for benefits. I tell the story of when a child is born in a family, grandma or grandpa goes out and they get a savings bond, or they open a bank account. And that was my strategy when I had my older son. All the monies that I had from, during his growth, I put in a bank account for him. I couldn't do that for my younger son. And so that bothered me a lot, because it just created a certain sense of stress and fear that his future without money would be limited. So that you just took that fear away from me. And now with the younger one that we have, he's getting benefits because of his circumstances different from my son's. And we're running into some of the similar problems of you don't want to keep too much because it might make him over the resource limit, but he's still young and he's going to need things later on after high school. One of the things I tell people when I talk about Able accounts is I can make plans to save money for future expenses, whatever those future expenses are. Why shouldn't a person with a disability have that opportunity? So those are the things that it means to me.
Well, and what if anything have you purchased yet or been able to acquire? Because we know we don't want Able account funds to replace any existing services or supports, but are you letting it grow? Are you using it actively right now? Well,
like I said, initially, one of my goals was to help my son when he transitioned into college. I think my husband and I have been very fortunate because our son only has sort of one diagnosis and he doesn't have multiple needs or expensive needs like some of the other panelists on here and their family members may have. And so we haven't needed to spend a lot of money outside of what, our current income on him. And so his Able account is basically right now just a saving tool. Like I said, he just registered for college, but he's staying at home. So we don't have the expense of dorm and other things like that. And even with the tuition that we had to pay, I was talking to my husband about it a week or two ago, or a couple months ago, as I should say. And he says to me, no, don't touch his Able account. It's for savings. We can manage to pay that tuition. It's not a lot. It's a community college. Mm-hmm. And so right now it's just a saving and just for the younger one, we're using it as a savings account. Maybe in 2 years when my son transfers to a 4-year college, we may need to supplement some of that cost out of his Able account, but it's our savings tool right now.
Okay, great. Well, and I wonder too, because the work that you do, you've been promoting Able accounts. Can you share just a little bit about what you're sharing with others and how you're promoting Able accounts through your networks?
Almost like the other folks that have spoken, anyone that comes close to me hears two things from me. They either hear about Able accounts or my other passion, Rethinking Guardianship. But I share it. I'm a part of a parent support group that meet monthly, and I've talked with them about Able accounts. I have shared it at all the committees and advocacy groups that I'm a part of. I've shared it with those folks because a lot of it involves professionals, and professionals do need to know about it. I'm also sharing it on my job. I work for North Carolina nonprofit that has Head Start and Early Head Start programs, in addition to 2 national programs that serve children and families. So I am sharing it there. I've done presentations on the job or at training professional development conventions that relate to the job and in other community settings in my area.
Well, and I know too, in that you're not just sharing information about ABLE accounts, you're sharing some of the tools, the ABLE Employer Toolkit, the ABLE Service Provider Toolkit, those kinds of resources so people they don't have to feel like they have to get a PhD in ABLE to understand this and share it with others. They're like, oh, here's a resource I can share with the folks I'm serving, and being able to go, as you have done, to our website and resources that we have, and then also to the ABLE programs. So Cheryl, one last quick question. What are you looking forward to this month?
I am looking forward to the decision guides. I know they're new. I've tested them out a couple of times, but I think they're, pretty good in helping to guide people along the path that fits their need and just answering some general questions. I am looking forward to the Ask the ABLE Expert and ambassadors, because I feel honored to be able to share my experience with folks. And I think in some of the presentations I've done in the past, people appreciate hearing on the ground experiences and not just from a technical point of view. Knowing what we have done as ambassadors with the ABLE account helps people to understand how it can work for them. Somebody mentioned the state comparison tool before, but that was one big thing that I found helpful on the website, because it just gives people more insight into what's available. So those are the things I'm looking forward to.
Well, we're looking forward to having you on those panels and along for the ride this month. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
I'll have another question for you at the end, but
Sure.
for now we're going to go to Nathan Turner. So if we can pull up Nathan's video and have Nathan unmute his audio, that'd be great. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, Miranda. Hey, everybody. It's a
You
pleasure
doing-
to be on. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for
Can
being
you
here.
see and hear me okay?
Yes, you're coming.
Okay, great.
Great. We're gonna go ahead and Nathan, do you want to just let people know a little bit about you, where you are, what makes you ABLE eligible, what you do, because you do some pretty cool things.
Yeah, sure. I'd be happy to. So my name is Nathan Turner. I'm from the Toledo, Ohio area, and I've worked for the past 15 years building capacity in the disability community. In addition to my work with the ABLE NRC as a BIPOC outreach ambassador, I serve on the Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I'm the first person receiving services to sit on that board. I also sit on the Ohio Self-Determination Association and many other organizations like the Ohio Statewide Independent Living Council Advocacy Task Force. And my day job actually is working remotely for TELUS International AI, supporting major technology companies to refine algorithms for search engines and digital assistants. But as part of my role with the Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities, I help them to develop a grant called Money Matters. And as a part of that, I co-facilitate courses on financial literacy and navigating public benefits and maintaining eligibility for critical public benefits while working, and work readiness. So that work really gives me some direct insight to the individuals and families that would be eligible for an ABLE account. It allows me to share my unique experiences. I have cerebral palsy, and I was a bit of a trailblazer because I think I was one of the first people in the country to sign up for an ABLE account, and I'm really proud of that experience.
Well, it certainly lines up with the work that you do for the Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities in the financial education class. And it's great you pair that work, your co-teacher as a certified work incentive planning coordinator. So
She is. Margaret Zuckweeb's incredible.
So can you tell folks, just for you personally, what does your Able account mean for you?
So for me personally, I always have a saying that I go back to when I teach my courses, and you and I have talked a bit about this, but money means freedom for people with disabilities. So an Able account for people with disabilities means that they have the freedom to build wealth and pursue all of the opportunities that everyone without a disability who doesn't depend on critical services like Social Security and Medicaid would be able to have, to build wealth and make choices like buying a home or purchasing a vehicle to make themselves more independent and just live better lives.
Well, and specifically, what are you able to achieve now with your Able account that you wouldn't have been able to achieve without it? And I know it's evolved even just since your time
It
as
has.
ambassador, which is great.
It really has.
Everyone excited.
So when I first started out, I didn't know how to use the account, but I just focused on small contributions and kind of saving for my future. But I live in an area with limited transportation, so I had to prioritize getting an accessible van. So my first big purchase with my Able account was an accessible van, and I've done that within the past 2 years, and now I'm saving to buy a home.
Okay, so some pretty big ticket items, although certainly for the folks you're teaching in those financial education classes, they might have big long-term expenses like those two, or shorter term needs that they have to just be able to go above that resource limit.
Yes, definitely. Quite a few of them save for longer term expenses, but a lot of them use it to help with day-to-day housing and food expenses, and they have the Visa debit card to help them with tracking those important expenses. And one individual in particular uses it in conjunction with her trust.
Right. Yes, and we'll be talking about trusts and Able accounts during one of our upcoming weeks during Able to Save Month. But what are you doing to promote Able accounts to others?
So as a part of, I teach my classes at least quarterly as part of the grants, but separately I do a lot of outreach to BIPOC groups and advocacy organizations. I love to speak to large groups of people, giving them high-level advice on how to use Able accounts, but then also I do a lot of one-on-one mentoring with prospective Able account owners, and I think that's critical to get people started as early as possible so that they can maximize the account.
Well, and where do you go to get some resources and tools to share? Do you have some sources for that?
So I didn't have access to the Able National Resource Center when I first started my account, July 18th of 2016. So I had to figure it out as I went along. But you and your team, Miranda, have done such a great job developing the decision guides and the service provider toolkits that really facilitate my advocacy on Able accounts.
Well, we're happy to help make it a little easier for you to get that information out and keep that information updated with any new information that's out there, making sure it's accurate, accessible, just for our audience to know. Our ambassadors give us feedback on what do they need and getting the word out. What would be useful and helpful to folks?
Yeah, those decision guides, I think, are a really, really great resource for anyone who wants a more in-depth analysis of how they can use an Able account to their own personal benefit.
Which is a great plug for, it's our most recent tool that we have, and it's something no one else has. They're very interactive, and we'll be sharing those decision guides throughout the month. And I guess that's also a quick question. What are you looking forward to this month? Maybe decision guides, but what else?
What am I looking for? I'm looking forward to the release of my podcast on the 9th, obviously, but just connecting with families and hearing their stories about how they want to use Able accounts to build financial independence.
Yeah, and on those, so when folks are submitting questions for our Ask an Ambassador, Ask an Able Expert panels that we're going to be doing on the next 3 Fridays coming up throughout the month, feel free to submit those and hop on and chat with our ambassadors. And I'm glad you're looking forward to that, Nathan. We're looking forward to it too. We like that we're making it a little more informal and accessible, hopefully, for folks. I know we're not taking those questions today, but we will be. And thanks Nathan for being on. I'll have one more question for you at the end, but for now, I'm gonna actually turn things over to Eric Cardenas, who's another one of our ambassadors. If we could have Eric open up video.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for being here today on the panel. Similar to everyone else, I'm going to start off by asking you to just introduce yourself, share a little bit about yourself, how you're ABLE eligible, where you live in the country, and some of your goals.
Sure, yeah, sure. So hello, everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Eric Cardenas, and this is my sign name, Eric. And so I am Hispanic, and I am a man with a beard. I'm wearing a pink shirt for those of you that are not able to see me. I have a necklace on and glasses. And I typically describe what I look like just in case you can't see me, but I am from Southern Texas and near the New Mexico border. And I'm in between South Padre Island, around that area. So that's where I live. Really, I was born deaf. And so that's the way I was born. We're not exactly sure what the cause of that was. It could have been a vaccine my mother had. It could have been genetic. We're just not completely sure. But the point is that my parents had no idea about deafness or that I even was deaf until I was 4 years old. And I had my first hearing test, and that proved that I was deaf. So I'm pretty happy about that. And so I went to a mainstream school, and that means that I was with teachers who used sign language, interpreters, hearing peers, and deaf peers, and so on. So when I went to college, I went to the National Technical Institute for the Deaf, NTID, and that's in Rochester Institute of Technology. Also went to Gallaudet University and got my master's degree in teaching sign language. And so I am a full-time instructor at the University of Texas in the Rio Grande Valley. And I teach sign language classes there, which is called ASL. I have deaf students and also hearing students who perhaps want to become interpreters or want to become certified deaf interpreters. And, you know, I really love sharing my knowledge and awareness with that group. Did I forget to answer any of your questions, Miranda?
No, that was great, Eric. I do have 4 more questions for you though. So the first question I have for you is, what does your ABLE account mean to you?
Well, to be honest with you, when I learned about the ABLE account at first, to me, it sort of felt like a relief. I just felt so relieved, to be honest with you, when I heard about it, because I didn't know what I was going to do about retirement or about savings or how I was going to be able to structure everything. I just was unclear about that. And when I heard ABLE, that gave me a great sense of relief, and I felt safety, that I could worry less. And I do have anxiety, so that really helped me be able to worry less about finances.
Wow. Well, relief is a powerful thing to experience. Can you share with the group what it is specifically that you're able to do now with your ABLE account that you couldn't do without it before?
Yeah, sure. So with my ABLE account, I am able to save money for paying for some of my own interpreters that I need, my own dedicated interpreters that I sometimes need to hire to communicate with family members, you know, because typically, you know, my family is very culturally Hispanic. And so sometimes I use that money to pay interpreters to kind of go with me to different events out in the community or different family events so that I can communicate with people. I just feel kind of helpless without that access to communication. So that's a lot of what I use it for. I guess just communication access, basically. And then other services that I may need, like transportation, to and from work. It helps with my vehicle and, socializing, different networking events and that type of thing. And related to my work as well.
Yes. Well, and like you said, also being able to share, to save towards the long-term future as well, here and in the future. Can I ask, what are you doing to promote ABLE accounts to others?
Oh, yes, I do promote it. I do share that with my colleagues and the people in my deaf community. I sometimes say to them, suppose something happens, and I will share experiences that I've had with them and let them know some examples. And a lot of times they've never heard of ABLE or they've never seen anything about it. And so a lot of times I will pass on that website. And I do feel that it's important for the deaf community to be able to understand it because, sometimes they may read it, but since English isn't their first language, it's nice to be able to see it in American Sign Language for me as a full explanation.
And we're going to be doing more with ASL resources this month and into the future. And Eric is one of our ambassadors, is helping us to do that. So thank you, Eric.
Sure, absolutely.
I'll throw you a softball question. Is that one of the things you're looking forward to this month, sharing your ASL video log and sharing some of those other resources?
Oh, yes, I'm so excited about that. I'm definitely looking forward to that, for sure. It took me hours to think and get that prepared, yes, so I sure am.
Well, we appreciate having you as one of our new ambassadors here with us and helping us to increase and expand our access. It's very important, so thank you. And I'll have one more question for you at the end, but for now, I would like to turn it over to Tim and then
okay, sounds good.
I'm going to turn it over to Tim Elliott, who's coming to us from New York, and then we'll be hearing from one more ambassador and wrapping it up. We're really glad we had this extended 90-minute session because we absolutely wanted to share 8 of our ambassadors and their stories. So Tim, if I could ask you to unmute your line and share your video. Hi, Tim.
Hello.
Tim's coming to us today from Brooklyn, New York, but I'll let you tell folks a little bit more about yourself, Tim, and who you are and where you are and what you're doing. And then we'll go into those questions and you'll have even a different set of answers and some similarities to your other ambassadors, but go ahead and tell folks about you, Tim.
Okay. Timothy Elliott. Like Miranda said, I'm in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a disabled veteran, 51 years old. So even though the age limit for the ABLE account is 26, you have to have your disability before 26. I opened up my ABLE account when I was 48 years old because my disability happened when I was 21. Like I said, I'm a disabled veteran. I was in the United States Navy. My job in the Navy was aviation electronics, to fix the systems on TAC helicopters and fighter jets. My disability is transverse myelitis, which have paralyzed me from the shoulders down for 3 months. Kind of tough, fought through it. I was in Virginia when that happened, came back up here to New York to live again. And for the first, I would say 10 years after I became disabled, I was attending an adult day center. And just so happened, a lady that was 40 years my senior, we became friends and she mentored me. She used to always tell me I'm a baby at, being disabled because she was born with a disability, cerebral palsy. So she guided me, and she was working for an organization, a nonprofit organization, self-advocacy, and they had an AmeriCorps program. So she got me into the program to work, for 2 years, going out talking to people with developmental disabilities about advocating for themselves and other people. So I did that for 2 years, and after I finished that, the organization hired me part-time to teach Medicaid buy-in. So doing my work of working with other people with disabilities, I saw everybody else were, accomplishing their goals. They had people that owned their own homes, people that had their own businesses. So I decided to pursue my dreams of real estate. So I went to school, got my real estate license, sold my first home within 3 months. After that, I went back to real estate school to pursue mortgages, did my first mortgage within 2 months. So I did both of those until about 2015. During that time, the state agency that my nonprofit job works with had a home buyer program. So they would ask me from time to time to do some work for them to help people get through the process of filling out paperwork. So around 2009, they hired me to work and supervise the New York City office. And through my experience of real estate and mortgages, I developed my own 12-hour course for first-time home buyers. And from 2009 to about 2019, when we ended the program, I'd helped over 100 families here in New York City be able to purchase their first home. So those that don't know about New York City, all you got to do is look online for New York City housing prices, and you'll see how difficult it is to buy a home here in New York City. Yeah. So we were able to help them navigate through that process to purchase their first home. Also during that time, the state agency I worked for developed a program called Self-Direction that helped people with developmental disabilities plan for their life, to hire their own staff to help them, whether they want to go to school, whether they want to get a job, or whether they just want to live independently. So I was what's called a broker, a startup broker. I did that for about 10 years and helped about 16 people develop life plans so that they could go on and live independently in the community without having to live in a group home.
Well, and I think the audience can probably pick up here why we wanted you to be one of our ABLE ambassadors. And can you share, because you've got those connections in that network and that background, and also we're seeing some in the chat, and we always thank you for your service, of course, being one of our veterans who has a disability and who's an ABLE account owner. But can you share with the group, what does your ABLE account mean to you?
Well, it means not having to keep money at home, because a lot of people that I have come across, with the benefits we have, Social Security and Medicaid, there's only a certain amount of money or resources that you can have. So a lot of people would take money out the bank to keep at home, which is not safe. Because anything can happen, whether it's theft or a fire, then you lose your money. So with me having a place that I can put the money and not have to worry about going over a resource limit in order to keep the benefits that I need to survive daily.
Right. And you're able to keep it in an FDIC insured savings account, or allow that money to grow with different investment options. So you've got some different possibilities there too, not just putting it under the mattress and hoping no one breaks into your house or the house doesn't burn down or what have you, right? Like those are, we've actually heard of and know of people where those types of things have happened. So I do want to ask specifically too, what are you able to achieve now with your ABLE account that you wouldn't have been able to achieve before?
Well, right now I'm using my ABLE account to save towards purchasing a condo here in New York City. And hopefully the prices will go down sometime, but that's my ultimate goal, is to have my own condo, hopefully a nice big condo where I have a lot of room to move around. And then eventually after I do that, probably to save for an accessible van, so I can get around without having to take a poor man's limo, which is the city bus or paratransit.
Right, right. Well, can you share too, because you are connected with so many different networks. What are you doing to promote ABLE accounts to others?
Well, I've actually been promoting ABLE accounts since around 2017. Here in New York State, we have My New York Able, which that didn't start until August 1st, 2018. So when I found out about the ABLE accounts back in 2017, while I was doing first-time homebuyer training, I would make sure to take at least 45 minutes to an hour just to talk about ABLE accounts, because that's a lot of issues. That's one of the issues that individuals and families face with having too much resources or too much money in the bank. So I would go on to the NRC ABLE website, show them the video. I think it was the top 10 things to know about ABLE, and then also show them the comparison tools in case if they wanted to open up an ABLE account, then they could do it in another state instead of just waiting for New York to open up the ABLE accounts here in New York State. But right now, whenever I talk to anybody, especially with staff that, social workers that work with different individuals, I always bring up the fact, when they call me about housing, like one important piece of housing is savings. So I always tell them about the ABLE account and direct them to the website so they can read up on the different things that are on the website and look at the videos. I tell them to go onto YouTube to look at some of the past webinars that are on YouTube so they can get a better idea of what's on there. And a lot of them, didn't even know that ABLE accounts existed. So with me, whenever I find out information that's going to assist somebody with a disability or poor people, I tell everybody.
Well, thank you, Tim. We're really glad that you're here. You're going to be joining us throughout the month on panels, and we'll be hearing more from you. And I do have one more question for you. I'm going to come back around at the end of the panel and ask you as well. But for now, I'd like to go to Hector, who's going to bring us, he's our 8th ambassador who's joining us here today. We're looking forward to having him share some of their experience. Hector, can we unmute your, hi, it's nice to see you, Hector. I love the background you went with.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Buenas tardes. My name is Hector Ramirez. My pronouns are they, them. I'm Chiricahua, Pashi, and Mexican. I am a person with a disability. I have autism. I'm hard of hearing, and I have a psychiatric disability as well. I live in the ancestral lands of the San Gabriel, San Bernardino Mission Band of Indians here in California, and what is actually called Los Angeles. And I'm very glad to be with all of you here today on Able to Save Month, which is a really new thing. Let me give you a quick visual description for those of you who can't see my screen. I am 46 years old. I have bushy gray-black hair coming about. I'm wearing a red shirt, says Native. I have a Seminole beaded neck piece. And then my background is a student background, and it has the Disability Pride flag because we just finished Disability Pride, but I'm a disability rights advocate. So Disability Pride for me is a daily thing. Happy to be with you, Miranda.
Well, we're so glad you could be here with us too. Could you tell folks what your ABLE account means to you?
It means a lot. It actually means a great deal. It's kind of like what I have used to transform my life from what it was before I got it. I got my ABLE account here in California in 2019 when it just started. So I was very fortunate. I have been working to advocate to get this program here in California, as in other states. I serve on the board of directors for a variety of disability rights organizations, including the National Disability Rights Network up in Washington, D.C. And for me, my ABLE account has really, like I said, transformed and be creative. Before I had my ABLE account, I was living in my 64-year-old mother's one-bedroom apartment kitchen floor. And I did that for many years because if I had money, I couldn't save it. It would impact my benefits. So it was actually a really kind of almost abusive cycle that I, as an independent person, could work. But if I did, it would really impact a lot of the benefits that I needed that I still utilize to this day. Because they're very expensive, as you all know. And once I got my ABLE account, I was able to start saving through the support of my friends, which was really, really neat because a lot of folks knew my situation. I've been a disability advocate all my life, and they couldn't believe that I was sleeping on the floor. And so I put the link for my Able account, and people gave me gifts and donations. And within a couple of months, Rhonda, this was pretty weird, but I was very grateful. I had enough money to put a down payment for a home, a mobile home, which I did. And a couple of months later, I just as I was learning about Able and all that financial stuff, I got to learn about escrow for the first time in my life. And so I went to escrow, signed it, and by Mother's Day, right before Mother's Day, we got the key. And I woke with my mom and my sisters, and we said, this is our home. And now I have a bedroom, she has a bedroom, I have a door, front door, and a mailbox, which is kind of neat. So Able really transformed my life a lot. And it continues to do it. I'm still having with my house, and now with COVID, it really has created an opportunity for me to survive. Had I not had this place, I don't know, I think my family, we would have had worse outcomes, just like everybody else dealing with the pandemic. Having a safe space is what everybody needs. And I'm here in Los Angeles County, and we just started our Delta wave. And I mean, it's pretty scary. Our hospitals are overcrowded again, and it reminds me of where we were, so I know that I am in a safe place with my family because we weathered this storm already. Like many people, we were impacted. We had several people that died, but our home was a place for people to kind of come and find rest and heal until their last days. And so we're kind of preparing for what's coming again. And I just feel better. So I'm kind of thankful for that. And I don't know, I'm able to really not spend any money and just put everything into my Able account for emergency things, like what we had during the pandemic. The other waves, we didn't have foods. We already have lines again of people for TP over here. So that's happening again. So I see those type of, scenarios playing again, but I know that the money that I've had and the situation that I'm able to kind of better protect myself and my family. Mm-hmm. And I think it's making it better. It's making it better as we move forward.
Well, and I know you've achieved some big goals with your Able account, as some many of our other ambassadors who've been able to purchase vehicles and these important things that are really life-changing, and that what you're planning on doing with your Able account in the future, it continues to evolve. But you're part of so many different networks. What are you doing to promote Able accounts to others?
Well, aside from this being National Able Safe Month, it's also National Wellness Month. And one of the things I'm one of those people that always tries to see where I can find commonality, and a calendar is a pretty good way to find something in common with everybody. And so I spend a lot of time in social media, as a way kind of to relax. And so I'm often sharing the resources and having conversations with the disability community who doesn't really know yet a lot about the benefits for the Able accounts. And so especially in my mental illness and psychiatric community members, not a lot of folks know about this, or even in the general disability population. And so I tell them how this Able is not only a financial tool, but it's a wellness tool, it's an advocacy tool. It's something that's kind of really an empowering thing. And so I really share that perspective with my community online. But then also in meetings, I do talk about the necessity of Able as being part and people's overall kind of environment of wellness. As disabled people, the system penalizes us for saving too much money. As a person of color, we get penalized for having too much money at any time. And so I think, there's those type of intersectionalities that gives me an opportunity to bring up this topic. So I've spoken, with the National Alliance on Mental Illness with parents. I've spoken on our mental health commission, but also, for example, here in the state of California, where we have a significant number of people who are in house and we're dealing with the homeless epidemic. One of the things that I realized is that a significant number of those individuals are people with disabilities. Many of those disabilities have been long terms. And one of the reasons that actually everybody on the street pretty much is because of the lack of affordable housing options. And presenting my examples to a lot of folks has given them people an opportunity to kind of see how they can utilize this. But also, like in a policy level, we're looking, for example, to pilot a couple of programs where people are going to get the type of universal income to see how they'll be able to adjust, particularly people with disabilities. And so we're working to really integrate the idea of ABLE accounts as being also a type of direct service that people can utilize, because they can continue working, they can save without the fear of losing that safety net of services that oftentimes when we save and it's gone, it's primarily one of the reasons that we end up on the streets homeless. And I'm 46 now. I am a lot older than most people with my disabilities usually get to live. As we get older, our chances of being homeless increase because of that, because we can't save money or find a place to live. And sometimes we have to pay for our own services, like Eric mentioned, which really takes out a lot of our budgets. And little by little, it kind of erodes, our ability to grow old. So I'm thankful that I have that ability.
Well, and it's great that you're able to share your story with so many others, our audience here, as well as your own networks, and promote and share this information. I'll tell you one thing I'm looking forward to this month. We also have a podcast we did with Hector that's going to be coming out on the 16th. So stay tuned for that. And Hector's going to be joining us on a few of our panels coming up. I want to go now back over, we only have about 10 minutes left. And I want to go through just all of our ambassadors really quick with just one sentence of advice. In fact, I'll go ahead and start with you, Hector, since you're up on the screen, and then I'll go back over to Davina. What's one piece of advice, just one or two sentences on what you would give Able to Save participants? What advice do you give to them going into this month?
You deserve this. You deserve to have an Able account. That's what I would tell you. You deserve to have this.
That's a great, very succinct piece of advice, Hector. Thank you. So we'll go now. I want to hear advice from, if we could get Davina to come up. Thank you, Hector, to share. Davina, we'll put a spotlight on you and hear what's your piece of advice for our participants coming into this month.
My piece of advice will be, in order to sleep better at night and relieve stress, definitely look into opening an Able account.
Okay, great. Thank you, Davina. And I hope that a lot of the resources we're giving this month will help people feel confident and comfortable taking that action if it's appropriate to them. Thanks, Davina. We'll go ahead and highlight Edward next and hear what advice Edward has for our Able to Save participants coming into this month. Hi, Edward.
Hi. I would say, why not? Don't wait. This is a game changer. The e-gifting portal, do it today. It takes less than 3 minutes. Trust me, you won't regret it. It'll change your life. It changed mine.
Well, thank you, Edward. We'll hear next from Simon. Hi, Simon. You're one of the newest Able account owners. What advice would you give to our Able to Save participants as we head into this month? We're kicking it off today.
I can say from personal experience, setting up an Able account is very easy. It's very quick. I did it in like an hour at 9 o'clock at night on a random Tuesday, and I was done by 10, and I was shocked at how quickly it was, and how easy it was to set it up.
And I think when you're including that, I mean, it really only takes maybe 10 minutes to fill it out, but you want to read those disclosure forms and all that great information too.
Yes, that's why it took me longer.
Yeah, but those are essential pieces, but it's not an hour-long form you're filling out, right?
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes of reading and like 10 minutes of actual, just punching in info.
Right. Thanks, Simon. I thought that might be helpful to clarify for folks, but yeah, thank you for that piece of advice, Simon. We're going to go to Cheryl next, and we'd like to hear, Cheryl, what's your piece of advice for Able to Save participants as we head into this month? If we could show your screen and unmute your line. Hi.
Well, quite a few people have already said it, but I'll repeat it and add something else. Opening an account is very, very easy. as folks with disabilities, we fill out so many paperwork for things and wait for acceptance into a program. And this is the one thing that you can do with a few easy clicks. Like Miranda said, if you did the research in advance, then you could just open the account. And then the other thing I want to mention is a lot of the ABLE plans have a YouGive program where friends and family can deposit money right into your account, and they don't get the account number, they don't get anything, just that code. And it makes it easy for gift giving. You can send it all over and family can support you that way.
Okay, great. And folks will be learning more about these resources and strategies and comparison tools to open their ABLE account to support some of the advice you're getting here. I just want to let you know you'll have resources from us. So hi, Nathan. Yeah, we'd love to hear what's the advice you have for Able to Save participants as we head into this month.
So aside from opening the account as soon as possible, I would just encourage everyone to be committed to small, regular contributions. It doesn't matter how small. I mean, keep in mind that the accounts are probably going to cost about $30 to $50 a year in fees, so do keep that part in mind. But just contribute small amounts on a regular basis so that you build for your long-term financial future. And if you're unsure about investing, most of the accounts have an FDIC insured option so that you can just deposit it into a savings account.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Nathan. And finally, we're going to wrap up with Eric. If I could ask Eric to show his screen, and we'll go to getting Eric's advice for Able to Save participants heading into this month. Hi, Eric. What's your advice for Able to Save participants as we head into this month?
Well, really my advice would be for the audience to keep watching all of the different resources that are available that will support you, because I think you will benefit from it. And I really think it's worth it to increase your knowledge about ABLE accounts. And and if you know people who are deaf or hard of hearing or deaf blind or any people, welcome them, or please let them know about these different workshops and things, because I would love to see more deaf participants in here, and I would love to be able to coach more people.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Frozen?
Thank you. Well, and I would just like to say again, thank you to our panelists, our ABLE ambassadors who are ABLE account owners and family members. We're really happy to be able to share their stories and have them on here with us. You're going to be hearing and seeing more of them throughout the month, and join us on our live events where they will be featured. And just as we're wrapping up in our last 5 minutes here, I wanted to reiterate, please do follow the Able to Save campaign on Facebook, or you can follow on Twitter as well by visiting the social media handle at the AbleNRC. And don't forget to use the hashtag Able to Save in posts that you share. Do also please stay tuned to our Able to Save webpage. Events and activities are going to be added here. If you missed anything, you can hop on that webpage and access that at ablenrc.org/able to save -2021/. There's a picture of our website. We've got a lot of great information and materials, ablenrc.org. It'll take you right to our 2021 campaign as well. And please do help us in spreading the word about our Able to Save campaign with your networks, and sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media. We'd like to, as we just wrap up, thank you again to our ambassadors, our ABLE account owners and family members who shared with us today. Thank you to all of you for being here with us. We look forward to having you join us along as we move forward with our campaign. And please do share this information with others. Finally, we'd like to again thank our sponsors for Able to Save: Prudential, CalAble, TIAA, and Able Now and Able America. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks. Bye.